I've commenced recording.
Okay.
This is my verbal confirmation.
Yeah.
This is my boy.
Yes, it is. Kind of hard to deny that, too.
Yeah, he's got a cock.
He's got, right, that he's a boy.
No balls, though.
I mean, he can't communicate his preferred gender. No balls. Yeah, that does take him down a notch.
That makes him genderless. They're all genderless. When it really, boils down.
Right.
They've had their genders removed. Nice.
Right, but their sex is the pound. They still call it the pound.
I think the pound is the pound specifically like the city, like the metro.
Yeah.
The Nashville pound over capacity.
Yeah.
I couldn't have taken Doobie to the pound if I wanted to. Evidently, they would have told me to put him back where I found him.
Jesus Christ.
Which I, wouldn't do. But
nope, he's here now.
These are trying times for pussies.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm good. This moment of my week is a nice decompression.
You enjoy Sundays. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, specifically this podcast.
Yeah, no, me too. This is great. I look forward to it. Currently, all week. We'll see when and if we'll get horribly sick of it.
Yeah, could happen.
It seems to happen around episode 5.
That's right.
Which would be this one.
All right, well.
If this even makes it to production, it will. I feel pretty committed.
Your commitment and energy level is apparent to all.
Yeah, no, I'm a zesty motherfucker these days.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
You introduce this guy to black pepper and it's just turns into a different person.
I love spices.
Me too.
You know
where I went last night?
Flavor Town?
Pretty much. I went to the new Taj.
You went to Taj too?
In-house Taj. You went to Taj?
No. I'm
Taj 2.
I'm exclaiming, you went to Taj too?
The second Taj.
Yeah. The Krusty Krab.
Absolutely.
How was the interior?
It was nice.
For those who don't know,
right.
Taj is the best Indian restaurant in Nashville. We're both diehard fans. I get it every week, but I usually have it delivered. They recently moved locations from their like musty, damp, original building, probably like 80 years old.
Oh, very interesting.
He's looking for treats in there.
Very interesting.
Yeah, let it happen.
It's happening. Does anyone else do this to him? I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He likes long-haired fellas and gals.
Got it.
I don't know what he thinks he's doing, but it's like catnip for him.
It's interesting.
And I mean it. He rolls around in hair in the same way he does with catnip. He like wants it all over him. I can't explain it.
Well, he's poofy.
So what do you think of my outfit? Too green?
No.
Too green? I want to draw attention to it.
Ideal.
I got the kicks, my Frankie Villanis.
They're really good shoes.
Yeah, I'm stoked about them. New Balance.
Yeah.
New Balance is cool now.
All thrifted?
Yeah, all from Buffalo Exchange.
Except the shorts?
Except the shorts. Those are Targies.
Last week.
It's been many weeks.
A couple weeks.
But you were there when I got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this windbreaker, also from Buffalo Exchange, where I got these shoes.
Amazing.
And to boot, I got those green sunglasses that I am so fond of. Yeah, you've seen them.
I must have.
It's the same color, teal. It's awesome. I'm a smoke show.
So
right
do
now.
you feel you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much. That's for sure. That's all I wanted to hear.
And it also doesn't feel unnatural.
Really? You don't feel like I'm posing right now?
It's clearly a thing you tried to do, but it's not clown-esque.
That's good.
You know what I mean? If I were you, I would feel unnecessarily a little self-conscious, like, are people on to me?
Oh,
Do you feel like that?
Much less nowadays than I used to. It's almost gone. I don't know what the turning point was for me, but I don't care anymore. It's fun for me.
Great.
I'm not going to pretend to not care about the way I look. I would like to look like I don't care and just also look amazing at the same time.
Right.
But sometimes, putting a little effort, I think, is attractive too.
I would have to agree.
And I'm monochrome right now, which is in.
That's right.
It's in. It's a good trend.
Monochrome.
I feel like I'm kind of looking. I feel like my main reservation is that I might look a little too Gen Z when I'm not trying to look Gen Z. It just so happens that I do identify with Gen Z fashion trends.
You do, actually.
And this shade in particular, like this kind of get up. I mean, this is from my childhood. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I could take ownership of it.
I had a windbreakers in general, early 90s. I had a
90s.
lime green and blue. I was an Adidas windbreaker, and it was like a lime green, like Gatorade yellowish green, and like primary blue.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love those.
that's my favorite thing.
Those are some good colors. Huh.
It's a lightweight and effective jacket
it's a great
type.
garment. Yeah. You know, me a few years ago would never wear something like this. I liked conventionally conservative, like just low-key modern clothing.
Right.
Well, I guess I've been into oversized stuff for a while. This is like dorky in a cool way, you know?
Yeah.
But it's also a very practical garment. And it's wet outside today. It's raining.
It is.
Or it will be.
And it really does break wind.
It breaks the fuck out of the wind. The wind ain't making skin contact with me.
I want like a 3D animated, like a sign, like, you know, like medication commercials. Maybe this is a little bit dated. They'll be like, what it does is it clears the blockage in the aorta, and it'll like do a 3D model of like
like a gunked up vein.
yeah, that like relieves the. I want that with our windbreakers really do break wind, and it's like a windbreaker that like zooms in and it, like
right.
turns.
It's like it's 2-dimensional. They're like animated lines, and they just like make contact with the windbreaker and disperse.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's
You understand.
That's what it's doing.
So now you have to animate that.
Oh, you think I'm going to do that? No.
I could do that on Blender in 2 months.
Great. Well, you get started on
I
that.
will.
I'm already biting off more than I can chew.
No kidding.
Editing this podcast every week is a couple hours minimum of work.
Is it a labor of love, or is it?
It is. Oh, I do enjoy it.
Oh, good.
I enjoy most of it. But the one that went up this week, I really just didn't have time to work on it until basically the day of. So I had to do it in like a 4 or 5 hour marathon.
Ouch.
It was a long one. It's complicated. We
Yeah.
had Bryce and Dirk.
A lot of personalities.
Yeah.
4 lines of audio.
Yeah. But it turned out great.
I agree.
It's good. I like doing it. I like it. I think this is a worthwhile endeavor.
It's all that life is about, in my opinion, is following that feeling
I agree.
for the most part.
The pleasures of,
Yeah, just a perfect dosage of hedonism.
yes.
If your hedonism coincides with productivity,
Everyone's supporting you. Yeah, like this is a hedonistic endeavor for me and a very vain one at that. But people will
Suppose so.
support me because it externally appears to be productive. People will laud me
isn't that funny?
for being productive, for just doing something. I think it's pretty masturbatory. You know?
Just by definition,
yeah.
I guess.
I have three. Well, 2 of these cameras are pointed at me, but wait, yeah, it's 3 camera
Same here.
podcasts. Yeah, no. So, yeah, and I'm sitting in my own house. I put all this, put this whole production together just to just to show off how interesting I am.
Right.
In my fun new green outfit.
Right. With my Zelda Core athletic fit.
Zelda Core.
My Kokiri athletic edition.
Kokiri, is that it?
Kokiri.
Yeah, what in Ocarina of Time is it? What's the village?
So it's Kokiri, and I've never known the proper pronunciation. As a kid, I always called it Corkery. Korkiri is what I said, but I had a misplaced R in there.
I think I call it Kokiri Village.
Kokiri seems
fine.
Right.
It's passable.
Yeah.
Tell me about your fit. Looks good. Looks
Cool.
looks you got your shoes. Let's go through everything. You got
All right.
got your footwear.
I have worn these Sperry topsiders. Not this exact pair. Not this copy. Not this ID number. But this style.
So you've
For like 10 years.
replenished that shoe.
Yeah, maybe 4 times.
Wow. So it's been in
5
production
times.
for a while.
Oh yeah, probably like maybe even since the 70s
Dang.
or something.
You love a Sperry.
Yeah, and my dad would wear them when I was a kid, and I was always like, never would I wear those. And then
That's how I
quickly
feel.
started to. I don't know.
That ain't my vibe.
Sure.
I need laces.
I get it.
Laces are bust.
Buzz.
And you don't want to see me when I buzz.
Yeah, well,
That's me
careful.
making a little ejaculatory threat.
A little sex joke.
That's what we call a dirty joke.
An ejaculatory threat.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You watch it, Buster. I'm gonna come.
If you don't back off, I'm gonna come.
Yeah. Okay. And then I got pink compression socks because
Those don't look pink to me, Buster.
Sorry, you're right. Reddish, pinkish. This is a salmon realm.
Salmon realm for sure. I would call those red, but
Sure.
I see where you're getting pink.
I'm down with red.
Yeah.
And they're compression socks because my feet are always ice cold because I think I have bad circulation.
Oh, you got cold feet?
But they're warm now.
That's great.
Then I'm wearing Levi's 510s, which
He loves the 510s.
I just love that specific model. And kind of same deal with the Sperry's. I like buy a pair every 2.5 years. And then,
I used to be that way with a specific pair of H&M pants. But then my ass got fat.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I started taking notice.
Yeah, a lot of people have been checking it out.
Have you ever got comments on your ass besides from me? Well, and let's put aside romantic. Aside from people where it's like, hey, my ass is for your pleasure right now.
Say something about it. Yeah.
Who's cutting through the noise?
Have I ever been just passively complimented on my keister?
Yeah.
No. I don't.
Sure.
I don't know anyone so bold.
Right.
Like, who's going to do
Yeah,
that?
that's a good point.
That's just inappropriate.
Even for people who have like huge, nice asses that everyone's like, damn, I guess they're not like going up to them and being like, your ass is fat.
Yeah, that's just not really appropriate. Even amongst close girlfriends, I would think like
Right. That would ruin the
it could come
friendship.
across as passive aggressive, or it depends on your dynamic. I'm sure there are plenty of friends out there who can appreciate each other's keisters, and it doesn't get complicated.
Yeah, I don't know. Last up, though, is this Fable Cry t-shirt, which is a band in Nashville.
They still a band?
They still kick around.
Nice.
I don't know if they've done... I think they've done... They at least do a couple shows a year on an off year.
Right.
And they're
Never miss.
probably... don't quote me on this, but they usually do a big ol' Halloween show called Festival of the Ghouls.
Festival of Ghouls. And they're all pretty ghoulish themselves.
Yeah, they're Burtonian.
Right.
And I like them. They're really nice, talented motherfuckers.
Yeah. Let's have them on.
They would love it. They would love to get all crowded up here.
You really think they do it? I feel like they're so hard to reach.
They are hard to reach, and I'm being presumptuous here, but I feel like if I cajoled them and I was like, this is good for you. Think about,
Cajole them. Yeah.
Are you going to deny my genius that this is a good idea? And they're like, well, yeah, okay. And then they literally show up and like Zach would probably show up in a powdered wig and not talk about it.
That'd be great.
I've seen him out in a pedestrian scenario in a powdered wig.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it does not.
That shouldn't be allowed.
He's just that.
It's like one day you realize there isn't a law against it. Like, did you know you can just wear a powdered wig like anytime you want? It doesn't have to be Halloween.
Right.
Yeah.
You wore a powdered wig.
It doesn't have to be the 18th century. You can just do that.
Yeah.
Were people wearing powdered wigs in the 18th century? 1700s.
Yeah, 17 for sure, right?
I think so. I don't know how long those are in fashion. I know they are in fashion in Mozart times.
Sure. I'm thinking about, colonial times.
Yeah.
1776 was our independence.
I think they might still wear them in Britain, but only in Parliament.
Ceremonial? Oh.
Yeah, or some shit.
By the way, Parliament
Fucking
of
weird.
Owls. Sorry, this is a side tangent, but I said to you Parliament of Eagles earlier to describe a bunch of eagles.
Oh, right, a group of eagles.
It's a Parliament of Owls. I forget what a group of eagles is.
Well, they're birds.
But anyways, a Parliament. Owls, they're regal and lawful.
Yeah, no, it makes
apparently.
sense. They're the lawful evil of birds for making alignment charts.
Do you remember? Never mind.
Man,
let's
let's
move on.
Sorry, yeah. And I'm just gonna tuck that away. An alignment chart for birds, simple,
That's good.
but just very doable.
Albatross.
Bald eagle,
like that.
bald eagle's lawful good. We have to say that as Americans.
That's just true.
Yeah.
But Raven is like a chaotic evil. Chaotic
Raven's
evil.
probably neutral evil. Or wait, is that how it works?
Yeah, neutral evil and lawful.
I think
evil.
neutral evil. I think pigeon's probably true neutral.
Yeah, definitely. They are not hurting anyone and are not doing anything good either.
Where's a seagull rank? I feel like seagulls are evil. I feel like seagulls might be chaotic evil.
Oh my god, yeah, they'll eat your burger out of your hand.
They'll fuck you up. But are they the most chaotic bird? What's the most chaotic bird?
Right. What's a bird that's like
Just can't be stopped.
like never sleeps and eats like is like omnivorous and
Well, vultures are kind of evil,
sure.
but they're not chaotic. They're like lawful evil.
But they're also not literally not hurting anyone.
Oh, true.
Isn't
but
that weird?
they're just kind of, but they aren't hurting anyone. In fact, they're good. They're a cleanup crew.
Right.
But have you seen a vulture? Have you seen what they fucking
Sure.
look like? Horrific. They, yeah. They're crazy. Like they look like monsters,
They do.
and they eat corpses.
They look like
fresh corpses.
Cretaceous or something, or maybe not Cretaceous, but like dinosaurs.
But yeah, for sure. Well, they say they are dinosaurs.
Damn, bitch.
All right. Well, I don't have like as robust of an agenda for
Okay.
today, but Labor Day is coming up.
Yeah.
I believe by the time this comes out, Labor Day will have just happened.
Sure.
This will come out on the Wednesday after Labor Day. I figured, hey, I like celebrating things. I like events, holidays. Figured we'd do a little Labor Day special today
Okay.
and talk about some labor related things.
Oh, yeah.
Answer some labor related queries.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's get in the go.
I know we don't have to wait for it to play or
Yeah,
anything,
we don't.
but it is funny to just imagine
Yeah,
that happening.
I'd see it in my mind.
Yeah, and
every
I hear
time.
it. And I'm like,
Blah, blah, blah. All right, so the goo today that
Yeah.
we're getting in
okay.
is a question, as it always is.
Okay.
What's the worst job you've ever had to work, or just this can be a single job, this could be a one-time thing, or a job you had for an extended period of time.
Point.
But your worst paid labor experience, you got one?
Yeah, what I'll say is that question for me makes me realize I've had a pretty decent labor history.
I thought so. I thought you might say that.
But you are making me realize if I had to pick like one of my worst days of work. I mean, there's a few, I guess. So my family has owned a restaurant for 40 years. Worked there as a kid.
Right.
Some stressful
Mario's.
times. Mario's Pizza. Mario. I say Mario's, but they say Mario's.
That's what I like to say. Mario's, like Mary.
Yeah, like Merry.
I was just thinking Mary, like the Virgin.
Sure.
Same thing.
Or Marry.
Mary. Yeah, they're all pronounced the same.
And they're all righteous.
Yeah, they are.
Mary O's, like a Christmas themed breakfast cereal.
Yeah, that's already a
Could be
thing.
funny. So, there's some days there which are, I don't know if you've seen The Bear. The Bear is a show about basically a restaurant in Chicago that's like struggling to operate and renovate itself. And it's a realistic, deep look into the restaurant world.
Okay, it's a TV show.
TV show.
Interesting.
Series. And related to that, a lot of days are like that. Then I was a bank teller,
Of course.
and that job was fine, but not great. For one, it was like 2 weeks of training with just me watching videos in the back.
2 weeks of that?
I think so,
What, like
yeah.
5 days of just watching videos?
Yeah.
For 2 weeks?
Yep.
That's what? What?
It was
You had
a
to
little
go there
strange.
too to do it.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
I had to go to the branch and sit in the back office and watch videos. And then eventually I started doing it.
Wow.
And once I started doing it, it was actually kind of interesting. It's really not what I expected. I expected to be put into this branch and to just be working at the branch forever. As soon as I got started, they started like throwing me around at different branches as like a hazing.
Moving you
It
around.
felt like.
Really? Just figuring out what your limit was for bullshit?
Pretty much.
So they
like,
can fuck with you?
my manager was this. I'm going to be an asshole. I'm just going to be an asshole for a second.
That's allowed.
I'm going to paint a stereotype paint a picture of a stereotype that we probably all understand. And this is basically my manager. Like, picture the Southern woman who is 37 and she's been married for like 2 years. And, every day she comes in with like a big gulp, from like the
Thirsty
gas
girl.
station.
Yeah. I know the type.
But it's not to say, like, I also want to, this person also like has it together in general. But it's like clear that it's like you kind of,
it's tenuous.
she has some moments in the bathroom where she like looks in the mirror and is like, you're nothing. You know what I mean?
should we know she has those moments?
That's my
Right.
sense of it. But, it's just like pleased as punch that she's like married and has a husband and like this is like an achievement. But she's like, you almost didn't make it. You're 30-fucking-7. I can see her like having this inner monologue.
Yeah. Oh, that's not healthy.
No, that kind of snooty under the surface person. But anyway, so she would like throw me around to different branches. And they put me at a branch in North Nashville once, which is known as, maybe the most economically sort of depressed region of the city.
Yeah.
It was actually amazing. She put me in North Nashville on like the first of the month on a Friday or something. It was like everything about it.
Is that like a peak day?
Right. Like start of the month, end of the month in banking, high inflection points of business, but then also like a Friday, payday.
I imagine in a low income area, you're going to have more people visiting the bank in person
Exactly.
because they got checks.
Exactly.
Shit.
And so it was just constant line, which there wasn't typically lines of people where in the branch I was at, but in this line this branch, it was constant, maybe 8 people in a line on every booth.
Oh my God.
And all of their needs were just so different. They all wanted like cash advances off their credit cards for the most part.
Can you get that? Is that a thing?
Isn't that interesting? It's like a 10% fee.
I mean,
like,
that's a huge fee.
You can get cash off of your credit card. Yeah, if you take if you need 100 off your credit card, you pay 110 to get the 100.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Wait. Well, I mean, but you don't have to pay anything at the time of the withdrawal because it's a credit card.
Right. You're getting 100 cash and you're charging 110 to your card.
Right.
So to speak.
Amazing.
And then just everyone's like attitudes, and there's like a lot of desperation and there's a lot of like resignment to being like, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to pay the fucking $24 fee, dude. What do you want me? Yeah, I know why I'm here, man. I need my $400 or whatever.
What
because I have to kind of run through a script. If they ask for a cash advance, like I absolutely can do that without any issue. I don't have to give them the stink eye or like,
yeah, why would you?
Or survey them or anything. I'm just like, all right, it's going to be a 9.17% fee or whatever it is. Like that okay? And be like, yeah, It's like, what am I going to do? Not do it?
Yeah, people get emotional about money though. It's
They
like
do.
It's personal, and you're implying that they may not be able to afford it by even reminding them.
Right.
I mean, you're not. You're just reading a script. You have to say that.
Right.
But people will interpret it that way because they're very insecure about their finances.
Yeah, which
that's my take.
I generally agree. And it was interesting to go to different branches and see basically different sects of the economy of Nashville. Like, I got through it, but it was difficult and constant. And then I came back to my main branch like the following Monday, and I was like, she's like, so what did you think of that? And I was like, it was a different world.
What'd you think of that? Like, they're like, he's coming in. He's going to quit.
Right.
So, Jesse,
Yeah.
what'd you think of?
Yeah, they're all lined up like he went to North Nashville last Friday.
Yeah, they got like a running bet or something. They're hazing you. That's so dumb. What?
She was like, and everyone else I liked. She was like, what did you think of it? And I was like, it's definitely a different world. And she was like, I thought you'd learn a lot from that.
Oh my God.
And
the way you just delivered that, I'm picturing this on another person, but
sure.
that was it was such a condescending, like, but like also like self-satisfied, like smug, like I just taught you a valuable lesson.
Right. No, it was always like that. Like
You'll thank me later.
But I get the sense that she was kind of trying to like stifle me a little bit, to be like, don't think you've got this shit on lock, dude. Like, this is hard work, okay? I'm important.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like
That's
to be
what they
do
want.
work.
That's a running theme with shitty jobs. They want you to think that you're like privileged to work there. Like it's a privilege to work at this Regions Bank.
Sure, I'm fine to say that it was Regions Bank.
Oh, you didn't say?
I didn't, but I don't care.
Yeah, well, what does it matter?
I also can't get rehired by them because, well, I'll finish this story and then we'll go back to you. But the ending is a little interesting, and it has to do with this manager. I basically only took this Regions job because I had interviewed for another job before Regions, and they kept pulling me along. That they were like, we're gonna get back to you on your interview. And it seemed promising. And like days and days and days went by, and Regions was like, all right, it's the last day to like, because I also got accepted an offer from Regions while I was job searching.
Right.
And so Regions was like, you have an offer, you have 4 days to accept it or whatever it is. And on the last day, I was like, well, I have to accept this Regions job because I need money and I can't wait for this other job to get back to me. And then I worked at Regions for 5 weeks. And in the 5th week, that other job finally got back to me with a much better situation.
Right.
So I had to jump from Regions into UBS. It was UBS. And I told my manager this. I was like, well, I told her that whole story, and she was like, well, you have to do what's right for you. I understand. And I was like, where's this coming from?
What, her understanding? Like,
yeah. She was like, oh, that sucks, but I get it. What are we going to do? Like, you have to follow that lead. Clearly, it's like the best thing for you.
Yeah, why couldn't she have been that chill when you were working there?
Right. Like, it seemed like, wow, are you that, actually kind of cool and see the whole picture?
Maybe she's just happy to have you going.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe she fucking hated me.
Thought you were gunning for her job.
And then because I had to get out so swiftly to go to the other job, I wasn't able to give 2 weeks notice. I was like, well, the other job, like, it was close. It was like 12 days later or something. And Regions has a policy that if you don't give 2 weeks notice, you're basically like blacklisted.
Fucked.
And apparently like upper management was like really tracking me and like loved me. And like upper management called and was like, look, like we support your exit and everything's cool and you did great, but we're just telling you, like, if you don't give 2 weeks notice, you won't be able to get hired back. And I was like, well, it is what it is.
That seems okay.
So I might not be able to get hired back.
Oh, no.
Anyway. Oh, no.
Well, you got UBS still. Should you
That's
go
right.
back? I'm sure you gave them 2 weeks notice.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you a bad boy?
I did.
Okay. Wow.
So that was a pretty bad day at a halfway decent job.
Oh, Regions was halfway decent?
Yeah, Regions was a little boring and I'm depositing $100 into people's accounts all day, like whatever. That's not that.
I think there are much worse workplace horror stories to be told, like your like sexual assault or your boss just not paying you.
Yeah, I essentially my worst work days are pretty goddamn fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Labor Day is a celebration of, labor laws have been put into place. And it sounds like none of your stories involve infractions of labor law.
No, I've had a pretty stable liberal life.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, but I know that you've had at least one horrifying job.
Yeah, my first real job where there's paperwork and everything was at a shitty Italian restaurant here in Nashville in Murfreesboro.
We're not going to name it.
I'm going to name it.
All right, what is it again?
Demas's.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is a chain?
It is a chain,
right,
but there's like 3 locations. It's spelled like demos.
With an apostrophe?
With an apostrophe at the end. So it's Demas's.
So fucking weird.
Yeah. Fucking mediocre. I mean that. I ate it a couple times, like 3 times, and each time I was like, this is subpar. But
Boy.
slammed constantly. Man. One of those places. And I needed a job. Well, no, I guess I shouldn't say this is my first real job, because directly before this, I worked for the apartment complex that I lived at for a few weeks, because as soon as I moved here, I needed to get employed full time, because it was a tuition thing. I was getting in state, but I needed to work full time.
Interesting concept to work where you live.
Yeah, well, it's part of becoming a resident. And, like I'm reaping the benefits of in-state tuition at MTSU. It's a program that they have, but you kind of got to give back by working.
Okay.
So that's why I took this job at Demas's, because their turnover is so insane, because they're so shitty that they'll hire anybody who walks in the door, because people don't last much longer than I do.
Wild.
Yeah. Day one, they put me on the phones, taking to-go orders. And they come in the minute the place opens. It's rapid fire. It's very intense. The menu is enormous. I've never worked a job before. I don't know the menu.
My God.
I don't know the menu. They didn't give me homework to do. I just don't know anything about it. And there's all this shorthand. There's shorthand for literally everything. And then all the variations. There's more shorthand for it. I don't know any of that. I don't know what I'm supposed to write down. I don't know what phone etiquette I'm supposed to employ. I've never worked a job before. I was 18, 19.
Right. But it also sounds particularly complex.
It was a tough job. So like I show up there and they just kind of put like whatever manager was in charge of me just like said, all right, that's what you're doing today. And, I was in there and there were like 2 other people crammed up, behind the front desk where you take those orders and pack them. It became quickly evident that I had no idea what I was doing. So some other girl there, she wasn't working in the kitchen, but she wasn't serving. There was a big restaurant. She had her own job to do, but she was unofficially trying to basically unofficially coaching me.
Yeah.
I mean, no one explicitly tasked her with this job, which is important later. She was just trying to help me because I literally had no idea what I was doing and nobody explained it to me. And the manager was just a bitch and just like, I don't know. They couldn't spare a little coaching. They just threw me into it because they actually needed, like their turnover was so high. They needed so many people that they just, I guess, needed someone doing that job on day one. So they just threw me on it and just kind of hoped that someone there would teach me.
That's so weird.
This girl was trying to talk me through it. But because of that, she was like, sort of having to neglect a few other tasks.
Right.
And she gets yelled at. Meanwhile, this whole time I'm kind of overwhelmed, but like, I'm keeping it together. And she's like, the whole time telling me like, it gets better. I know this is overwhelming at first, but I've been here for a year and like, I love it here. It's great.
What?
And by the end of that shift, she was in tears. She was crying.
Right.
Because she was getting chewed out by that manager for like something really insignificant too. It was about packing to-go orders. Like she made some mistake because she was busy helping me and she got yelled at and she was crying while trying to convince me to stay. It was awesome. That was day one. And I did it for another week.
Whoa.
Eventually they did give me homework. There are like quizzes and shit that you need to take and pass.
Holy shit.
For some reason didn't give me any of that until I was already there. And they were tough. There was a lot of homework for me to do and I took it. I really tried to do it. But I actually legitimately couldn't pass the shorthand quiz after I took it once and didn't pass it.
Wow.
Because it was so dense. Like it was a lot. Like just so much rote memorization for something that I just don't want to do, don't care about. I'm not trying to prove myself. They made me shave my beard because you need to be a baby face. Even if you're not working in the kitchen, that's the Demas aesthetic.
Oh my God.
You're a little cherubic little baby boy. They made me shave.
Cherubic.
And I was making like $7.25, like minimum wage too. I was never interviewed. I walked in there just like, I was literally just going into different restaurants and retail places asking if they were hiring because I needed a job immediately.
Okay.
And they basically hired me on the spot. And then, there's like this orientation thing a few days later where were really trying to put me and two other people who were also starting into the mindset of feeling privileged to work at Demas's.
Oh my God.
This is a great place to work, so make sure you keep in mind, like, this is a privilege to work here. I'll never forget that.
They said that.
Yeah. That language specifically.
Weird.
It's a privilege to work here. I'm like, is it though? Because I was hired before I even, like, I don't even think they knew my name.
Right.
They just knew I was interested in a job. Then they're like, when can you start? We need people immediately because no one will stay at our restaurant for some reason. Yeah, I have a lot of ire for Demas's.
A lot of ire.
Kind of blacked out there, getting in the heat of it.
I understand.
But yeah, anyway, I did that for a week and then quit, and I wasn't faced with much resistance. After that, I worked at Chipotle for about 6 months, which was better. Still shitty, but better.
6 months is a good haul for something like Chipotle.
Based off of other Chipotles that I go to, it seems like the one I was working at was very strict because, like, I remember how I would get kind of chastised daily for not smiling enough, and I feel like I smiled a lot. I felt like I was smiling constantly. I was genial, like I have good etiquette, like I don't know, but I was working the line at Chipotle, so you're interacting with people, and I remember like every shift the manager would pull me aside and say like, you gotta be smilier. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I definitely was, but I've never been to a Chipotle since where everyone is smiling. Like,
oh, that's so not a hallmark of a Chipotle.
Yeah, it's not. But that Chipotle was so strict.
Weird.
But I was a good employee in general. I did my job. But what ended up terminating this job was a trip home that I took over spring break. When I was hired, I was told, if you're taking time off, you just put it on this calendar 2 weeks in advance. Right. That was all. That's all I was told to do. And I did that. I did it many weeks in advance. I took off like 1 week to go home for spring break. I had to find some people to cover like 2 days that I had already been scheduled on. And I did that. And, I took the proper measures, but they must have scheduled me anyway, or evidently, they put me on the schedule anyway. So they're shorthanded for all those days because I'm out of town. I never receive a phone call or a text message, which is really important.
Yeah.
Because when I get back, I'm not on the schedule and I keep calling the restaurant trying to get a hold of a manager to figure out when I'm coming in next, and they keep evading me for some reason. So it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna get my stuff and just go to the restaurant physically and look at the schedule in the kitchen or whatever. And so I do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not on there. And my manager, this fucking dumbass Keegan,
write it down.
Pulls me aside. Yeah, he got fired sometime after I left, which is good.
Erase it.
He lets me know. Well, he tells me like, man, like, where have you been? Like, you were on the schedule, but you didn't show up. Everybody was trying to get a hold of you, and you weren't answering. And I was like, that's just not true. It's just patently false, Keegan. And I didn't receive any. I double checked that my phone number was correct on the sheet, and it was just nobody tried to get a hold of me, and it's because he fucked up. He put me on the schedule without checking the fucking calendar, and so
this was just his story.
Yeah, he was just covering it up. Like he fired me then, to make it look like it was my fault. I explained how I did everything that I was supposed to do, and my phone number was correct on the sheet, and I didn't receive any text messages. And he was finally like, there's other stuff, bunch of things. So anyway,
oh my God.
I should have really pressed him on what those things were at the time, but I was actually kind of relieved to not have to work there anymore. That's a good point. So I didn't fight it, but
so wait, can I read this back to make sure I understand?
Yeah.
So you were told that if you want to take time off, you just put it on this calendar 2 weeks in advance, and then when it comes time to schedule, they will heed that as part of the whole scheduling process.
That's what I was told.
Right.
That's my understanding.
So you put it on there, you go on vacation. Question on the way to this: did you talk about the fact you were at work? I'll be gone
to other people I worked
casually,
with. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So it was in the air. People. So that just adds another layer of interestingness for Keegan.
Yeah, since everyone was trying to get a hold of me, but evidently,
supposedly.
Yeah.
So then you're presuming that he did not catch that you took time off, and then scheduled you when he shouldn't have, and then we're shorthanded, and instead of him being like, fuck, he was like, well, look at Michael fucking up, everybody, and then just kind of let it fizzle out so that he didn't have to face the fact that
he was the manager, looks bad on him to be shorthanded and fuck up the logistics. So like it makes sense. The job was more important to him than it was to me. Clearly. And I think he was largely just trying to cover up his mistake.
There's other stuff.
Yeah, there's other stuff, man. Love to hear it, Keegan. He got fired sometime after I left.
Do you know why he got fired?
I don't remember, but something about being a bad manager. He was bad at his job.
Chipotle in general, when I go, I haven't gone in a long time, but when I go, it's always, you get up to the line and you're kind of just automatically feeling bad. For the people working
them,
and
definitely,
you're feeling bad that you have to patronize them at all and make them do anything,
right? And
then you also feel like you're made to feel bad. I'm not saying they like shame you or anything, obviously not, but there isn't an overwhelming amount of warmth.
No, I don't feel an overwhelming amount of warmth from 90% of retailers or restaurants.
Right.
Me personally, like, I feel like everyone should be free I don't think you got to put on airs.
Sure.
I think if you're for as little as you're being paid and as much as you're suffering, you don't have to plaster a smile on your face to placate me.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to do that for older people. I think Gen X, I'm going in hard on Gen X these days.
All right.
And baby boomers, they get a little hot. If even if you're like all I care is that you do the job that you're doing. If you're working a job and you're just not doing it, then you're kind of a fuckhead. But at Chipotle, it's like I don't need them to pretend to be thrilled to see me.
I agree.
It's like your job is to scoop some stuff into a bowl. Pretty much, as far as our interaction is concerned. I tell you which rice that I want, and you do it. And I that's what I did. And it was an exhausting, kind of pretty stressful job.
Yeah,
like because especially when you're working at a Chipotle that's weirdly strict about some things, but overall like mismanaged. Because we're constantly running out of stuff, and customers would get really pissy. You know how people are. If you've ever worked a restaurant or a retail job, like you get to deal with how shitty people can be. And like we were constantly running out of guacamole, and
toughie.
People would get very angry about it when they go through the line and there's no guacamole.
Jesus Christ!
Like, are you fucking serious?
Oh my
type
God,
thing.
really?
Or like people would just leave. There'd be no guacamole, and they just throw their hands up and just leave. They'd walk away and go out the door. And like
Jesus Christ,
we'd be kind of running out of other ingredients too all the time, but guac was the main thing. People would get so emotional about it. Sometimes they'd make me or someone else, when we were out of guac, which is like every fucking day, someone would just stand by the door and just let people know as soon as they come in, hey, we're out of guac. Just so you know. That was the resolution.
Whoa.
There wasn't a shortage of guacamole. It was just whoever was in charge of ordering it and getting it made was just not doing it right. I sympathize from both sides.
Yeah.
I worked there long enough to get my taste, get my licks of the service industry life.
Yeah.
It ain't for me.
Who's it for? It's for some people, but
it's for I don't know. Yeah, it's for plenty of people. Waiting is one thing. I mean, you get tips and you can interact with people if you're super extroverted.
Yeah.
Also, it's a job you can probably do stoned most of the time,
Perhaps,
which appeals to a lot of people.
Well, especially in the service industry.
I mean, obviously, it's got to appeal to musicians. Like every fucking musician with a job here in Nashville is a bartender. Like that is the number one choice. It would seem.
Makes no sense to me. We've talked about this so often. But
I was talking to somebody about this recently. I asked somebody.
Take?
They were like, "It's about it being really enjoyable." It's like you're kind of performing, so it's fun.
Okay,
and you get you get tips. That was kind of their answer. I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but the tips was like a big thing. Like, you know, it's, you get to talk to a lot of people and you get tips. And like, all right, yeah, if you're into that, I guess that makes sense. But the cons are so substantial. I mean, with the scheduling and the energy drain.
Right. And whatever, I do hear that, you know, there's like good money in bartending, of course, but that good? I don't know. And it's like, I guess the musicians I know that are like, first order business, become a bartender. It's like, well, I guess you don't have as much of a career motivation for your music, or at least you're not that serious. I guess someone could make an argument that it's a networking option as well. Yeah. You're getting a rotating door of potentially useful contacts.
You could say that. I don't know if I really buy that, but
yeah,
one could say. I think no matter what anyone says, the main driving force is just you must love bartending, or at least the way it looks to be bartender.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, do what you love.
Do what you love.
Now we both are very satisfied with our work situations.
Yeah. It didn't take too long.
No.
All things considered.
Yeah. Feel pretty lucky. You were an indiepreneur.
Yeah.
A wonderful little organization.
Oh, isn't
Not
it?
a startup anymore. You can't call it that.
Yeah, hard to say that. It's pretty fully fledged.
Yeah.
A lot of our quote-unquote competitors don't even have employees.
Yeah, fuck them.
Pretty much. I made an alignment chart of all of our competitors.
Oh, yeah, I did see that in Slack. I'm still in
you're
Slack.
still in the Slack.
Yeah. That was
Because
amazing.
we were talking about it. And then I was like, within like 2 minutes of chewing on it, I was like, I guess I might go that way. And then I just looked it up.
Yeah. I didn't know most of the faces on it. It is very niche.
Super niche.
But yeah, that was good.
And it will never get out because, first of all, this clip has already become a clip, number one.
Oh, of
number
course.
two, it's already gone viral. Fuck.
Number three, I put your alignment chart
it's
in
flashing.
it. I've already overlaid it. So you're looking at it right now.
And if Omari MC, hey, zoom in. If Omari's MC sees this, nothing will happen.
Do better. Omari MC.
I put him at neutral evil.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember Omari MC because he's one of the few who I did recognize.
There you go.
Neutral evil feels right for him. Anyway, we should change the subject. This is hard for anyone to engage with.
That's a good point. All right, carry
on. But yeah, no, you're an entrepreneur, freelance video boy.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. I'll probably keep doing it for a while.
You could do it for as long as you want. I don't see why it would ever. It's only
it's sustainable as long as I get work, and right now I've got more work than I can do. So
I would think it as an industry will only grow and become more of a main thing for everyone.
Freelancing,
video.
Oh, video, yeah. Look, AI is changing everything.
I know.
It's changing every industry.
I know.
And it's eliminating some, but it's threatening to eliminate some, such as remedial script writing, which is what the strike is about.
That's right.
But yeah, video. It seems like the need for video content and editing is just ramping up all the time.
Yeah,
and so it's not a bad trade to be in. It is a saturated saturated trade. There are lots of people trying to do it, just like lots of people want to be DJs,
right?
Or like it's something like in the entertainment industry. Not always, because you can just edit YouTube videos, but even so, there's some glam in it. It's like it's kind of showbiz.
Yeah,
it's a showbiz adjacent.
Right.
Any job that's showbiz adjacent is very sought after. For some reason, though, I feel like audio, as far as music business careers go, I think being an audio engineer, like one of the most competitive jobs, working in a music studio.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes,
there's an overwhelming supply of people who want to do it.
True.
And not that much demand when it comes down to it.
Yeah, because a lot of the people that require an audio engineer, you kind of need a business or an investment of some kind to support that request.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists can't even get that going. They can't raise enough money to justify a music studio.
Right, exactly. Yeah, my recording studios in and of themselves are, well, I guess like there are plenty of recording studios here in Nashville that are fully booked all the time, but it's like, there's more music being made today than ever in history, like exponentially. The amount of songs being uploaded to Spotify, is probably just increasing every day. But it's like the demand for audio engineering skills, like professionally, like as a contractor, I don't think it's really scaling up as much because everyone's just learning how to do it themselves.
I would agree.
For one, not using recording studios, for the most part, like. You got a lot of people producing pop from their bedrooms and whatnot. So like if you want your vocation to be exclusively audio, you kind of just have to be an entrepreneur, I think.
I would have to agree.
That's in my opinion, that's the smartest way to go about it. Because getting a job at an existing recording studio, very difficult. Very few opportunities.
Yeah, you have to
even
be
internships.
A janitor first. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be an intern first,
right.
For sure. You gotta do it for free. Then you gotta be really, really good and really, really likable.
Right.
These are all requisites, like bare minimum, at like a legitimate recording studio. There are about 1,000,001 like recording studios, just like there are record labels. Anyone can be a record label or a recording studio. I could call this Slime Zone Records, and start looking for interns and probably find some with minimal effort.
Well, you ever think about it?
I could probably manipulate somebody into setting all of this gear up for us, for calling it an opportunity. I hope I'm wrong about that. I'd like to think, especially after COVID, people are wising up to that. But
look, the 100 unopened DMs in your inbox say otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. I got a lot of free labor barking at my ass.
As soon as you posted that first video,
people were throwing themselves.
Oh my god, I would love to have this opportunity. I'm at BYU and I would love to. BYU.
BYU. Brigham Young. Well, we did talk about how slapping Mormons are.
We did, and I watched almost all of a series with Andrew Garfield in it about Mormons.
Oh, what's the show? It's that series. I love Andrew.
It's called Under the Banner of Heaven.
Is he fucking Mormon?
In this movie he is. Okay. Series. In the series he is.
Interesting.
At first.
He was in a Mel Gibson movie called Hacksaw Ridge where he's disgustingly Christian. So I'm like, maybe that's his thing.
He's super Mormon in this series, yeah.
Cool. Well, anyway, yeah, I'm freelancing. It's great.
Right.
I feel pretty good about it.
Here's the thing, though. At one vantage point, you look at something like the music industry, and you're like, it's so saturated. But there's another vantage point where it's like, yes, it is. However, how hard is it to win over the average person in being hardworking or being smart or being efficient? Or I feel like in these super crowded industries, it's like it's mostly dumb fucks.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It seems just video editing specifically. I am really like eager to meet some skilled video editors and not people who just do it begrudgingly. For as much demand as there is for video editing, it seems like the amount of truly good video editors, it's hard to find. There's so much incompetence all around, and not just in video editing, like in every aspect of production and I think just in general, I think everyone who's ever worked feels like the people that they're working with, that they work with incompetent people, or they just experience a lot of incompetence. As a frequent collaborator in the video realm, it's astounding how low the bar seems to be.
Right.
For as saturated as it is, right? Like you immediately stand out if you're just good at it.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to like work at SpaceX or something, and even within that realm, I'm sure everyone's feeling a lot like, God, like only 4% of the people here or even care, or even, I'm sure that sentiment is like within every company, no matter how like, intensely intelligent you have to be to get it or whatever. But I would think that's one thing. I think it's another thing to be in like a freelance realm where it's just like the entire sector is just a ton of, individuals.
Right. And yeah, it's all competition. It's all a competition of obviously like the quality of the work that you do. And there's like the speed at which you do it is a factor.
Yeah.
And your personality is a factor. How much you charge for a lot of, shitty clients, like all they care about is like the cheapest, work that they can get done. Not so much, and obviously I don't work with people like that, but I feel like I've got hella job security.
That's
because I just feel like I'm better at it than most people who are vying for the same job.
Everyone I know agrees on you specifically, about you as a video editor specifically. Motherfucker.
Hell yeah, dude. Motherfucker.
You also give the sense when I, cause I've hired you many times and I've seen you be hired many times by others. The main sort of sense you give me anyway in your work is that it's just like it's gonna be done pretty goddamn quickly, and it's also gonna exceed your expectations.
Yeah, that's
at
the
least
way.
A little bit.
That's the way you do it. I mean, if you want to freelance, I feel like I've already talked about. I feel like I've already given freelancer advice on this podcast. I don't know when or what episode that was.
I don't either, but sure.
Like, that's how you stay busy. Like, and that applies to any business, I guess. You want to exceed expectations because then people will talk about you to other people.
Especially in a right. I guess you're talking about freelance. Freelance of all the places, I feel like you've gotta give a little extra.
Yeah,
at least at first.
For sure, you got to make contacts, right? It's like a big networking thing.
Yeah.
But I've never had to like go to like networking events to find work, or like I've never had to like scrounge or on like the Facebook groups in Nashville for musicians, and we all know young entertainment professionals.
Gross.
Like there are people on there constantly looking for cheap music video directors, and every post like that immediately gets 50 comments within minutes of it going up from all these wannabe music video directors. And
I imagine you even entering that realm like cheapens you. Like,
I feel that way
by
too.
being present.
I don't really do that, but like I've tried it a few times, but I'm like, I get so like, it's so inundated, like that channel is, it's like, it doesn't even matter if I like have a great portfolio. It's just like, I'm all automatically like kind of swept under the rug. And also it's like, I don't need to do that. I actually get enough work from like my existing relationships that I don't even have time to do that.
Yeah.
Plus most of those jobs that come from the Young Entertainment Professionals Facebook page are terrible. They're like shitty. I'm not pulling any punches, shitty like wannabe country artists who
no
like,
shortage,
just moved here and want to make a really lame cookie cutter performance music lip sync video,
walking through the cornfields and such.
And even that would be, yes, that's the type of thing. But the one I'm picturing right now is like you rent like one location, probably like a big like warehouse. It's kind of grunge and edgy. Ooh. And then you just get your band or a fake band and just set up your instruments and just play the song, and then you do 8 takes of that. And an editor
8 takes,
and there's nothing else to it. And it's like that costs you $2,000. Which is like, that's like a fair price for that kind of music video, but it's a complete waste of money.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense for
it does nothing for your career.
Carrie Underwood or whatever the fuck. But I agree.
For Bert, not Bert. How about Tyler
Child?
Not Tyler
you're
Child.
Making some
I'm
up.
making up like a name, like
Tyler Brent.
Luke Smith.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck. Boggs and Bentley.
Bentley. They're never interesting names, though. They're like
Adam.
Like always such generic, like white dude names for these. And they like, you're trying to be an artist and stand out. Well, you're not trying to stand out, obviously. Everything about what you're doing as a young country artist in Nashville, it tells me you're not trying to stand out. You're specifically trying to blend in. and you're going with your own name, which is Tyler Jacobs or some shit.
Right. That's good.
Tyler, a lot of Tyler, Lukes, Chris's, like a disproportionate amount of Tyler's, Lukes, and Chris's.
Right.
For some reason.
Right. Luke's and
Luke Brown,
Chris's.
country artist. And
Brown, too.
Yeah, Brown's a popular one.
Zach Brown, Kane Brown.
Those are two huge
I'm
ones.
sure there's others.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of more actual country artists and their
You
names.
think there'd be more White?
Yeah, you would think that.
Adam White.
There's one White. There's Jack White, but he's not country.
Right. Well, but
He is very white, though.
he arguably is like echoing off of country of old in some fashion.
Yeah.
What do you think of Jack White?
I can't. I'm not up to date on Jack White news scandals. He seems like he gets shit sometimes for being kind of cringe.
Oh.
I don't know what he's up to these days, but I like the White Stripes. You know, the old stuff. I don't know what they sound like now, but
They're been over for a long time.
oh, okay, good.
White Stripes, anyway.
That
But then
makes
Jack
sense.
White carried on his own side.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
the White
overall, I'm
Stripes
pretty
too.
neutral on Jack White. I feel like I've seen some dumb takes from him on social media.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I feel that way about everyone.
Yeah, it's hard to evade that.
I don't feel that way about Neil deGrasse Tyson. He gets a lot of heat for his tweets for being obnoxious, but like that's the point. He knows.
Right. I know.
He tweets like pedantic, like actually
Right.
like science stuff.
Right.
I think it's great. It's very funny. He's it's very dad humor.
Right.
You know.
Right. He knows what he's doing.
Anyway,
He's all right. He's
Yeah.
good. I like him too.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
He's black,
Yeah.
not white, but his
That's
name
right.
doesn't mention any color. No part of his name.
Nope.
Jack White though, shame on you.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
And Jack Black.
Come on,
what
dude.
the fuck?
Also, why have they not teamed up? They would do something very worthwhile.
Yeah, they're
together.
both rock artists. That's interesting, isn't it?
Never thought about
They've
that.
never collaborated.
It's so easy. I would think it's a great opportunity for both of them to boost both of their.
Gray.
Yeah, that's the album.
That's the super group. Yeah,
That's the song.
because black and white makes gray.
It's kind of like Breaking Bad.
It is. It is just like that. Gray matter.
Walter White and wait, what was the other guy's name? Was it really Black as his last name?
Yeah. Wow. Now I'm spacing on the name. It's not
Wow.
Eli. It's
His old business partner. It was the Woz, the proverbial Woz, Steve Wozniak of Apple.
yeah, the proverbial Steve Wozniak of Walter White's former company. Anyway, I think that's our podcast.
Okay.
We've really tread a lot of ground. We've made a lot of progress in this country. Labor Day.
Ooh.
Labor laws. Cool stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate
unions.
We love.
Pro. We're in favor of unions.
Yeah, strike.
Strike if you must. Strike until
Strike it till you make it.
strike until you make it, baby. But
Sing it
wrap
Australian.
it up soon because I want to watch The Boys.
Oh my God, yeah, same here. Please.
The Boys season 4 is being dangled.
Just pay them to whom it may concern. Give the people what they need to get us The Boys on Amazon.
Yeah, for the sake of The Boys.
It's a show called The Boys. Look it up.
Meet in the middle.
I wanna
think
watch it.
Most people know The Boys.
It's pretty pop.
Most people. It's a great show.
Pretty pop.
Oh, God. All right, let's go poop and pee in our pants and then cry about it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.